Welcoming in Daniel Haudenschild, the CEO of ORIGYN Foundation. Daniel, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for having me here.
It's a real pleasure to have you here, Dan. Very excited to learn more about the ORIGYN Foundation, and we're going to start there for this. For those in the audience that aren't familiar, can you tell us about what ORIGYN Foundation does? What is your mission at the company? What do you guys seek to achieve?
Yeah, it's actually quite simple. Our mission is to become the global standard for authenticity, identity, and proof of ownership by issuing certificates.
Fantastic. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper into the specifics of what owning fine art on the blockchain with ORIGYN looks like. Touch on the process and the technology that ORIGYN uses, and what is the buyer experience like when you're purchasing this fine art?
Yeah, so we use, we issue these certificates of authenticity. So basically, for those not interested in blockchain or any of the fancy words that we use, it's quite simple to understand. It's if you've ever been ripped off, if you've ever been frauded of something, if you've invested money and it turns out not to be real, it fills you with this kind of like caveman rage that you want to have somebody to go to, and that's the problem we solve. So with our certificates of authenticity, if we say it's authentic and it turns out not to be, we pay. Then that's kind of as simple as that. So how we do that isn't so simple. We use something called microstructure traceability, macro image, computer vision, AI, and probably the most powerful decentral computer ever built, which is Dfinity's ICP. And so we issue these certificates using the format of NFTs, which are essentially really close pictures of objects, of luxury watches, handbags, or art. And then you can certify, even if you see just a piece of it, if it's the real thing with no barcodes or anything else. So it's like facial recognition for items of value. Now, that's quite powerful because it allows you to trade those items with more confidence and almost free of trust. And in the case of art, it allows us to break the big pieces of art that cost millions of dollars into hundreds of thousands of little pieces that me and you can afford to buy and invest in. So, and the user experience is quite nice because you actually have the whole NFT format. So it's more than you just buying a luxury watch. You're buying something that's a status symbol and that comes with digital format and digital content.
Awesome. Okay, that's really good, and it's a solid foundation for us to move forward from here on. Does ORIGYN offer other assets aside from just the fine art? Is there anything else in the ecosystem?
Yeah, so we have 4 what we call verticals, which are full freestanding legal entities owned by the foundation, and those are luxury, digital media, collectibles, and art. In the luxury goods space, you have, of course, watches, and we'll have tens of thousands of watches in circulation, this summer. And in luxury good, it also expands into stones and jewelry and handbags and other things. Collectibles is really exciting. I think this is one we have a lot of eyes on right now because of things like UEFA and the Europa Cup and some of these fantastic tournaments that you can be a part of and collect across. You collect NFTs across the championship in order to unlock experiences in the future, like being pitch side at one of the games or flying with a team. And if you collect the correct NFTs to complete your mission, then you unlock some of these really rare and super rare experiences, which is opening up a whole new sort of genre for NFTs, like proof of attendance, as well as physical collectibles, as well as being in stadium, all kind of to unlock future experiences. And then we have the purely digital certification, which is extremely exciting too. This is kind of like how does scarcity affect the metaverse? Metaverse is a lot like festival seating. It's like a Ryanair flight. You have to run across the tarmac to get your seat. If you want the VIP zone, it's going to be a gated community that you can get into with an NFT, and that entrance is the ultimate scarcity in the metaverse is of course something that's also exists in real life. And there was a recently study by Boston Consulting that said like 89% of people who buy a luxury item in the metaverse or in game end up buying the real thing in real life. So that's quite a high conversion rate.
Outstanding. Okay, any notable releases that you can touch on, whether just coming out, anything that you guys are particularly proud of, or anything coming up in the near future that you think people should have their eyes on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're celebrating sort of the beginning of the ecosystem being in full production. We will be listing on decentralized exchanges coming up next week, and we will be listing on centralized exchanges from the middle of June. And that really marks the beginning. It feels like it's a kind of an end goal, but it's actually just the beginning. And from there, we have the ecosystem sort of in full drive, and we will be rolling out in luxury goods as well as in art and digital media across the space. I think things to watch for is this kind of cross chain collaboration that we see happening. We just did one with a game called Cryptopolis, where it's sort of a social climbing game in a Sims format, and the higher up your Sims get, the more sort of status they have. And there's literally an in-game object that you win in that. It's a real Rolex. And if you win the object in game, it's this legendary thing. You redeem it for a physical Rolex at Origin that we then ship to the client. So, and that was done on BNB. That's a BNB chain game. So now you have in-game assets cross-chain, from Binance chain to the ICP, where that redeem for real-life value. And I think that's super exciting. This is going to start to motivate and incentivize people in a whole different way.
Amazing. Okay, let's switch gears just a little bit and tell us a little bit more about the functionality of Origyn's native coin. It's OGY.
Sure. The OGY token is essentially it allows you to buy the certificate's lifespan. So we work on Definity's internet computer. The internet computer is a decentralized file storage, but also decentralized processing power. And if you have a certificate, if it's for a Rolex or for a handbag or for artwork, you need to tell the internet computer that it exists, and you need to get it to remember that for an amount of time. So that might be for 100 years if it's a luxury watch, or it might be for a weekend if it's for a football match or for a tournament. But the certificate lifespan is essentially what you pay for with OGYs. So the more certificates in circulation, the more OGYs get used for that cause. The second thing that the token allows you to do is participate in the governance of the OGY platform. And right now, one vote equals one token, and we have we want this to be a platform by the governed, for the governed, so the luxury goods community can decide for themselves what rules they apply to. And that's the intention. So to do this, you stake your tokens, and then you can vote, and you get rewarded for participating in the governance with more tokens. So you can put that in there. And it's interesting to note that the Origyn is a foundation. It's a Swiss foundation, which doesn't have an equity structure. So Elon Musk can't come by us. And inside that structure, if it's a non-for-profit organization. So if we make too much money because we're too good at getting our certificates of authenticity out in people's hands, and then the foundation makes proceeds, and it uses those proceeds to buy the token and destroy it. So reducing the overall circulating supply. So it's quite a nice token to hold on to and stake, and then get rewarded for it, because of that sort of deflationary mechanism that the foundation has to hold on to in order to keep its not-for-profit status.
Anything else that our audience should keep an eye out for from Origyn? Where can our audience follow you guys on social media and look out for things that are coming up in the future? Yeah,
so we're on Discord, Twitter, Telegram, LinkedIn, all of the sort of usual haunts. I think that what would be the sort of the best for me would be that the next time you buy, or you buy a watch, or you buy a Mont Blanc pen, or you buy something, a piece of luxury, or invest in something, and then you get this experience of having an Origyn certificate.
Awesome. Well, a lot of exciting stuff there. Certainly looking forward to seeing what comes next from you guys. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see what comes up next.
Thank you very much. It's been really great to be here.